Hello, I am the gaming superhero, and today we are celebrating the birth of a nation. No, not that one. I am making a kit for the first Marvel hero you think of when you hear America. Jubilee! Okay, so it is mostly for the fact she shoots fireworks, which is still thematic. That, and I've already done a lot of the more obvious options. Captain America is already in the game. I did Sam Wilson Falcon with Captain America's skin, and Red Hulk back in February. I did US Agent in May, and I just did War Machine last month. So there really aren't any American poster boys left? And shout out to Biggle on Discord for guessing correctly. And also shout out to Idyllic Overwatch. Or at least I assume that's what OW stands for. Idyllic on YouTube. They both got it correct. Well, at least Biggle admitted it was the hair. I don't know how Idyllic guessed. But, good job. Good job, fellas. So, let's see where this perfect American poster girl came from. In her first appearance, Jubilation Lee, yes, that is her real government name because her parents really hate her, first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 244. That's her only first appearance, which is so nice after last month. Each character having a minimum of, 2 first appearances as different aliases. We open in the City of Angels at its totally massive mall where Jubilation is putting on a show for a crowd of onlookers. But this catches the attention of head mall cop Lou, who hates her with all of his being and is trying to catch her despite every other mall cop questioning why he cares so much. There is a quick chase where we see there are a shit ton of mall cops in this place, like a small army. All of them after her, but she gets away with her gymnastic skills. But then discover an advertisement for the M Squad, who are just giving toasters away, but also act as mutant exterminators. We then cut to a land down under, where Rogue is throwing a tantrum, because Carol Danvers has reorganized her room. They are sharing a body, like a split personality, currently. And yes, it is that Carol Danvers. Storm doesn't try to calm Rogue down, instead choosing to remind Rogue that the body sharing is entirely her fault from basically murdering Carol, which is correct. I can't say I disagree with what Storm is saying, but there was probably a better time for this conversation. Rogue tries to leave, but Carol takes over to let Rogue cool down in her head. When Dazzler suggests that her, Storm, Psylocke, and Carol in Rogue's body should go shopping. Colossus is not invited despite supposedly still being in the room. He was here earlier, but he probably wouldn't want to anyway. The girls teleport to the Los Angeles Mall through a portal made by Gateway. But the M Squad have arrived, and it is at this point it becomes clear they are just a bunch of Ghostbuster riff-offs. Anyway, Jubilee spots our pack of X-women and is in awe of their confidence and beauty. So she follows them around, without them knowing, like a normal person. First, the girls get haircuts. Then they get some new threads, makeup, all the classics, out of a makeover montage of the time. Carol realizes that Rogue is not going to be happy, but she doesn't retake control for the rest of the issue, so we don't need to worry about that. They then go to a club in the mall, which seems like a crazy thing for a mall to have. Like, it's a proper bar and stage. Like, this is just a straight-up nightclub inside of just a regular mall. There is apparently a Chip and Dale show going on, and I don't mean chipmunks. Dazzler pays for the man on stage to drag Storm up to dance in front of everyone. It goes better than I would have expected. Back to why we are here. Jubilee, unable to enter the nightclub due to being underage, is caught by the M Squad with a giant contraption. I refuse to believe they were just lugging around everywhere. I don't even know how they got it into the building. No way it fit through the doors. The girls notice the commotion and leap into action, saving people and destroying the machine. Nothing crazy of note. The mutant busters are then yelled at by the mall cops for destroying the mall. And in the confusion, the girls make their getaway through another gateway. But, unbeknownst to them, they are followed by Jubilee. And that is where the story ends. Really good introduction for her character, even if she didn't use her catchphrase, but I assume that came later. But with that, let's get into the kit. I have made her a duelist because we can't have her be too useful or else it wouldn't be accurate Jubilee. Her primary fire is her firecrackers. She will throw a projectile that will explode at a certain distance, or on an enemy for direct hits. Very similar to Magneto's primary fire, except it will probably do more damage. Next, we have a movement ability called Flash Slide. This is a fast dash that will leave a trail behind Jubilee that will explode and deal damage after a few seconds, leaving a trap for your getaway, or for just keeping mobile in a fight, inspired by her fight in that X-Men 97 episode, which most of these will be from, but that is the most involved she ever gets, so there aren't exactly a lot of other options to draw from. Ability 1, Fireworks Show. Throw a projectile that will explode into a large cluster of fireworks that will act as visual cover and deal damage to any enemies that enter the radius of them. The cluster will form on any surface you throw it at, or at a max distance so you can place it in doorways and flanks. I'm not sure how long it should last, but I'm thinking a pretty decent amount of time to really make it feel like you're closing a pathway. But it could also be used to just throw at enemies to kill them, because it does do decent damage. It is not just a visual blocker. Ability 2, Distraction Flare. Throw a projectile straight above Jubilee that will attract all auto-aim attacks for its duration. So these are things like Wanda primary, all cloak and dagger attacks, and even Star-Lord ult. This can also be good for drawing fire from Namor's turrets, because they would also be drawn to the flare. As long as the flare is in range, and no matter what they do, they can't not hit the flare, except look away entirely, but presumably there isn't anything useful behind them. Again, not sure how long it should last, but definitely more than a few seconds. This is actually inspired by X-Men Evolution, when Jubilee did this to avoid getting the X-Jet shot down, which was literally her only appearance in that show, and they found a more creative use for her powers than the entirety of the original run of the X-Men animated series, where she was a main character. The ultimate is Big Finale. Throw a massive projectile that will explode and kill all enemies within the radius, and blind any enemies within line of sight. You can look away to avoid the blind. The actual death radius is smaller than Scarlet Witch's, because it has a secondary use and needs to be different. So it's quite small. Jubilee does need to aim well if she wants to get kills with this. Another element inspired by X-Men 97. What else is new? I originally just named it Atomic Blast, like one of Jubilee's leaked ability names, but I decided to go with a more interesting name that fit the theme of the character, and like the other names I put in this kit. And you know what? I'm gonna add a Teamup right here, right now. This isn't in the script. Right? I'm just come off the cuff. I was thinking about how I didn't have a Teamup, but then I thought, she's got such a connection with Wolverine, I gotta think of something. So, I've thought of something. Flashy Slash. Ignore the name. Look, I just came up with it. Wolverine gains the ability to slash his claws forward to send a blast of, energy that damages and blinds the enemies caught in that blast. And that's it. That's the ability. Let me know what you guys think. I think I quite like it. Usually when I do team-ups like these in these videos, I try to give the actual character I'm talking about an ability, but there really was no way to do that with a Wolverine and Jubilee crossover. So, if she came to the game, she would give Wolverine some cool shit. She herself would not get cool shit. But yeah, that's my off-the-cuff team-up ability idea. And with that is how I would add the most bafflingly popular X-Men. Which is saying a lot, but seriously, why does everyone love Jubilee so much? It's all exclusively from the X-Men show, but she doesn't do anything useful in that show? And her personality and voice are a little grating. I don't get it. She is better in 97, but that wasn't exactly a high bar. Regardless, I think she would make a really fun character. And since I guess we're getting at least one X-Men per season for some reason, Emma Frost in Season 2, Jean Grey is apparently going to be in Season 3, but we'll see if that actually pans out. I guess there weren't any in Season 1, but that was obviously a special case anyway. Whatever. I hope you enjoyed the kit. But if not, let me know what you would change, and Join my Discord to talk all things Marvel or DC now, because we got that whole DC thing going on. Or, anything really. I'm also taking special skin suggestions for characters exclusively in the Discord, if you want the skin showcased in the short on Wednesday. And with that, are you welcome? Does a mall babe eat chili fries?